an MBA really important? I decided to have a conversation with my colleague who is also a friend about this conversation. Hi guys, welcome to the Smiling Professor. My name is Bukola, and today in this video I'm going to be having a conversation with my PhD colleague who is also a friend about her experience acquiring MBA certification, her experience as a lawyer, and other interesting topics.
Stay tuned, the Smiling Professor will be right back.
Welcome back again, guys. So before we go to discuss the topic of today, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who subscribed to my channel so far and has taken time out to comment on my videos. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your support. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, please hit time out to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the red button below. So now let's just go straight into the conversation with Miss Nenie. Hi Nenie, thank you for doing this. Nenie is currently a PhD student and she also has 2 masters. She's one of those academic ladies. Apart from me telling everyone about you, please can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Nenie, as she has rightly said. I am a second year PhD student and my background is in law. I am the first girl in the family. I come from a family of 4 children, so yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So why did you choose to do an MBA after you already have a master's in law? Why did you choose to do an MBA?
It's in line with my expectations, where I see myself in the nearest future. I look forward to being a consultant who can travel around the world, but I enjoy doing what I do in terms of business. And given the fact that I come from a law background, I didn't know how to bridge the gap between my reality and my expectation. So the best route was to do an MBA because I am very passionate about maritime law, and the only way was to do that was through the business route. So I decided to do an MBA to be able to bridge that gap between my reality and expectation.
You said that you see yourself being a future consultant and all of that. Please, can you speak more on that?
Okay, so well, aside from being a future consultant, I also look forward to lecturing, but for now it's just future consultant. So I'm very passionate about maritime law, and when we look into maritime law, there's the dry shipping and there's the wet shipping. In terms of the dry shipping, we see merchantmen, cadet officers. These are the people that actually that are the businessmen in terms of international commercial terms. Like you hear terms like FOB, CIF, cost, insurance and freight. So it has to do with carriage of goods by sea. So, and to be able to do that, I didn't see myself going to court and defending cases, arguing with the judge or my fellow lawyers. I saw myself as someone who would more or less draft contracts and encourage and just, make my money from that.
Oh wow, that's so nice. Yeah, that's really nice. So you were thinking more of the business aspect.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, so even if you have like the technical skills, you're thinking more like the business aspect. It sounds so much like me, thinking of the money aspect of engineering.
True, very true.
Thinking of the business aspect of engineering, the management aspect.
I didn't know anything about the business world. The only thing I knew about the business world was what I had read on, say, TV or social media platforms, or conversations that I have had with friends or my parents. So I didn't know much about the business world, and I didn't know nothing. I didn't know how to start with research in terms of the business world. But look at me, I'm doing a PhD in business now.
Yeah, definitely. We are. Yeah. So what have you learned being in business school? Was it worth your time? Was it worth the effort? Was it worth the fees?
Well, was it worth the fees? Definitely, I would say yes, it was worth the fees. Was it worth my time? Yes, it was, and it still is worth it, because I'm still in the business field. And if there's one thing that I really picked from that, was one module, finance for managers. Aside from finance for managers, there's lots of modules. One of them even helped me land my current job, which is I'm working part-time as an administrator. But in terms of, I think the modules that really helped me was knowledge management, finance for managers, and organizations and people. So these are in layman terms, accounting and HR. And this really helped me in terms of I can be an accountant for my personal life, and I have been able to teach other people who have entered into the MBA. So the knowledge I learned from finance for managers and people that are not so good in mathematics or figures, I was able to teach them and explain it to them, and they were, and well, I don't mean to brag, but they got A's in that.
Yeah, you should brag. You should brag. There's nothing wrong in bragging. So, you have the records to prove it, so you should brag.
Knowledge management helps me with my current job, and organizations and people till date, it still helps me because I am an employee, not just an employee for the sake of as of course we understand that as a PhD student you're employees of the school, but as a part-time worker, I know the contract terms, I know when to adjust myself when I'm falling below my contract terms, I know how to apportion the time that, okay, this is what I'm contracted for, even though I'm going over and beyond, but it would not be to my detriment.
Yeah.
So yes, it has helped me.
Yes.
It has, and not just in terms of my work, but in terms of increasing my network. The people I meet on a day-to-day basis, I know how to relate with people through the organizations and people. I understand that people interpret things differently, and knowledge management still also helps in that. In life, you have to know your knowledge champions.
Yeah, definitely. Shameless plug. Yeah. You just call knowledge management, which is like part of my PhD. So what did you learn about knowledge management?
One of the main things that helped me with knowledge management was there are different structures in an organization. So we know there is a flat structure and there's a hierarchical structure. Although these are formalities, but no matter how an organization might have an hierarchical structure, informally, they still operate as a flat structure. So, and it works vice versa. An organization can have a flat structure but still operate as an hierarchical organization. So when we say hierarchical organization is the type of organization that it's a top to down approach. So there's due process. It's something similar to the military. You have to go through every step, every procedure. Authorization has to come from the top to the bottom. But when there is ideas, permission to innovate in an organization, if you're trying to move it upwards, there is a lot of delay when it comes to that. But with flat structures, and oh gosh, flat structure is just amazing. Like, everyone is more or less equal. You can share ideas with yourselves, you encourage each other, and things move really fast. Innovating moves really fast. Processes being approved, it moves really fast. So yes, and it helped me because when I went for my interview, I had finished my interview and they asked me, oh, do you have any questions for us? And I said, yes, I do. So 2 questions. The first one was, could you tell me a little bit more about the organization that I have to work for? And they explained it to me. And the second question was, I asked them, so I understand the organization, but would you say that's a flat or a hierarchical structure? And they were taken aback because they had not initially put their structure, how the organization was structured, into formal words.
Yeah.
So they were really taken aback, and they said, oh, that they didn't understand what that meant. And I explained that a flat structure, colleagues can check each other's work, they can checkmate themselves. And they said, yes, that they operate a hierarchical structure, but informally, it's a flat structure because every low-level staff, they check themselves, and then the managers check the work of the low-level staff, and then there's a CEO who checks the work, but then everybody checks, the low-level staff can check the manager's work and point it out to them. So yeah.
Oh, I guess they were impressed.
Very impressed. Very impressed. And it was the knowledge I learned from my MBA that helped me with that.
Yeah, definitely. Why PhD in management rather than PhD in law?
I'm going to open with a story. So when I was to go to law school, I went to one of the northern states, and while I was there, it was bombed twice. And then when I was to serve, I was posted to the northern state again, and my parents had this fright that it would not be safe for me, that even if I had gone to law school somewhere in the north and I had stayed there for 1 year and I was back, they couldn't risk me going to the north again for another 1 year. And of course, I was within the law school compound, so their minds were at peace. But this time around, I had to interact with the people of the community. I had to fend for myself. I had to pay bills and everything. So they were really, really scared. But I camped in the northern part of the state, but by the time I went for my call to Barr, while I was still in camp, I went for call to Barr, and my dad came for my call to Barr. My dad is a professor, so and my dad was able to redeploy me. Based on security reasons, I was able to get redeployed. Because I understand that my dad he's surrounded by a lot of his network and network of friends. They really do know how to come through for him. But then it's the network and the net worth that helps you with the business connections, that helps you with getting to where you need to be. Because aside from the fact that you interact with people daily, I mean, to get to where you need to be, your ladders are people. So you shouldn't just burn them, you shouldn't just trash them anyhow, and you shouldn't treat them anyhow. So I chose to do a PhD because it was the best way for me to become a consultant. It was the best way for me to attain where I saw myself being in the next couple of years.
So you're saying that actually being in a business school and having an MBA would provide you with connections you would need if you want to do something big outside education, like consultancy, outside academics. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Not that it will provide you with the connections you need, but it would give you a platform that you can utilize. So it's how you utilize that platform that matters. If you do your MBA, say in Nigeria, it would obviously put you before quite a number of people, but it's how you utilize that platform that matters. Doing an MBA here in the UK, obviously it's in a part that it's not a modern city, but then you have to utilize that platform. You have to make use of it. So it still boils down to how you use the platform that is given to you. Everybody is presented with opportunities in life. What matters is not how the opportunities, of course, the opportunities have to be legit, they have to be legal, but it's how you use them. Not just them coming legally, but you have to use them legally too.
Yeah, that's really nice. You drove in a very good point. So you think, like, as young people or young adults, we should always try to utilize our opportunities.
Yes.
You are young. You have an undergrad, you have 2 masters, you're doing a PhD. So if there's any lady or young girl watching you now, what would be your advice with them? If they want to be a lawyer and they want to acquire something in life, they have goals, what do you think? What do you think helped you get to this point? Like,
the first thing I would say is find your passion. Not just, you have to discover your passion, what you're passionate about. If I am very passionate about business, I am very business driven, I am so ambitious, and sometimes there are days you might not want to pick yourself and do it. It happens to all of us, even the strongest of them all. But you have to pull yourself by your bootstraps and do it. But the first thing you have to do is find your passion. In finding your passion, you will find purpose. Sometimes it's the other way around. You find purpose and you find passion. I never wanted to do law from the start. My father, of course, he being a Nigerian dad, he ensured that I do law. But in my 4th year, I found purpose in it. And this is something I tell even my younger sister. There is purpose for everything. Find it. Your job is to find it. Find your passion. When you are passionate about a thing, it's that one alarm clock that gets you in the morning. It wakes you up even in deep slumber to push, to go for it. When I came here, I didn't know that I was going to do my PhD. I just knew I was passionate about maritime law and I wanted to dive deeper into it. But I knew that I didn't want to stand in a court and say, yes, my lord, no, my lord. No, that's not what I wanted to do. As ambitious as I am, I'm pretty chill. So I got here and the opportunity presented itself. And another thing is, you have to weigh your opportunities. If an opportunity would not take you to where you need to be, there are other opportunities to present itself. It's okay if you don't utilize one opportunity. It's okay if you know where you're going and you feel that this opportunity would not get you there. It's fine. You don't have to say yes to all opportunities. Weigh everything. So 2 things I would advise you. Find your passion and hold on to it. Do not let anyone drag you with you. Don't let anybody argue it with you. Find that passion and stick to it. Another very important thing is opportunities. So the first one is passion and the second one is opportunities. When it comes to opportunities, you have to weigh your opportunities. Where you're going to, you need to be able to know that these opportunities will take you to where you're going to, and these people will take you to where you're going to. Two friends of mine, the first one said a dead clock tells the right time twice in a day if that clock is a 12-hour clock. If the clock is stuck at 3 p.m. or 3, it will tell you that it's 3 p.m. and it's 3 a.m. That's twice the right time in a day. My friend told me that where you're going to, if the method is not taking you there, you do not change the purpose, you don't change the destination, only change the method, change the process. So I never imagined myself doing a PhD, but I got here and it presented itself, and I saw that it was the best route, possibly the fastest route to take me to where I need to be in the next couple of years. So yes, I took it and it's a legit route. I cannot over stress this enough. It has to be legit.
As a lawyer.
As a lawyer, it has to be legit.
This is the lawyer part of her.
It has to be legit.
You can't take the law part of her away.
It has to be legit. If it's not legit, walk away from it. And another thing you have to have, one skill you have to have is the skill of investigation. Be your own PI. Because there's one of my I'd say mentors that I follow. His name is Strife Masiyiwa. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the last name correctly, but his name is Strife. He was once the chairman or the CEO of Econet. I follow him on Instagram, on Facebook. This man, I have learned so much from him, especially his posts on Facebook. When he explains business concepts, I get so much from him. There was one post he did sometime in, I think, 2017. He said he was presented with an opportunity to make quite an amount of money in such a short while. And of course, he felt that he had the right money to pull through. He went back and did his investigation. He had the investment to put into this business proposal and business ideas, because a lot of people go to him with business ideas and proposals. But when he went back to do his investigation, he found out that that thing was porn related or drug related or alcohol related or something. And he's not a type of person that does things like that. So when he went back to do, he hired a PI and they dug deep. And the name of the company that he was investing was covered and buried under lots of shelf companies. Shelf companies are companies that they just pick off the shelf and then they just buy it. They didn't start it from the ground straight. But he found out that I think it was something that wasn't legal. I think something that had to do with either I think porn or something. But it wasn't legal. And it just didn't sit right with him. And he said that it was against his principles. So he stepped away from that. So you have to be your own PI, investigate, find the root source, do your due diligence, because the law would not exonerate you if you say you don't know. Do your due diligence.
Thank you so much. I think everyone can actually gain from this advice. You need to investigate. Whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to partake in, you should investigate. So thank you so much. I want to say thank you to all of you who's watched to the end of this video. So the conversation with Miss Nenie was quite long, so I decided to split it into 2 different videos. So I'm going to be releasing the second part of the video next week. If you want to add to the conversation, please put your comments down below. And also don't forget to like and share the videos and click the notification bell so you always know when I upload. Thanks guys. See you next week. Bye guys.